Mirror, mirror on the wall, what are you anyways? Are you a reflection of oneself? Or are you much more? Do you hold a deep, more sinister purpose? I know what you guys are thinking. A mirror is a mirror. What are you talking about? Well, let me explain this to you. Why do you think they say it's bad luck to break a mirror? Is it just superstition? Or does it actually hold a purpose? With this story I'm about to tell you guys, I'm hoping maybe I can help a few of you. It would have made things a lot easier and a lot less complicated if somebody had told me a story like this to begin with. I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in now. I grew up with a very superstitious family. They would always tell me not to walk under ladders, not to break mirrors, and all sorts of stuff like that. I never really paid any attention to it because, let's just face it, that sounds ridiculous and crazy. Like, what's the worst that could happen from you walking under a ladder? It falls over on you if you accidentally hit it with your foot. So that's the mindset that I had, but where did these superstitions originate from? That's what we should be asking ourselves. Because the mirror one comes from something that's based on fact. Well, at least where I'm from, it's based on fact. Maybe not where you're at, but I do know in my case, it is. But enough rambling for now. I'll tell you how I figured out that these things were actually true. It all started out the summer after 8th grade. I was just sitting at the house playing Halo 3. It was boring, but it was definitely hot. So there was no way that I was going to be going outside. So I continued to play Halo 3 for another half hour or so. And then I decided I had to find something else to do. When luckily, my dog Spot came running up to me with his ball wanting to play fetch. I was so bored by that time that honestly anything would be more fun than playing any more Halo. Xbox is fun and all, and I love video games, but you can only do so much of one thing at a time before you just get absolutely sick of it. So anyways, Spot was there panting with his ball in his mouth, his tongue hung out to the side, just looking at me in anticipation, waiting for me to take the ball and throw it. My mama told me a million times not to play fetch in the house, but she was at work right now. She would never know what would the harm be. So I reared back and I threw the ball across the room, into the hallway, and into her room. And just a moment later, Spot come running back playfully with the ball in his mouth, tongue still hanging out to the side. I continued to play that for another 15 minutes. I actually got so absorbed into what I was doing, I didn't even know it was time for my mom to be home. But while I was sitting there playing fetch with Spot, she had already gotten to the house and I didn't even notice. And growing up with a strict family, you know how parents can be sometimes. She overreacted, and she took my Xbox 360 controller. I was furious. I was like, it's the weekend, I've got to have something to do. She was like, well, next time you'll learn to listen to what I say. You will not play fetch in the house anymore. And me being a kid in defiance, I continued to play fetch with Spot in the house just because she said that I couldn't. I was throwing the ball obnoxiously hard in the hallway, letting it bounce around just to prove a point. She started screaming at me to stop, but I had to do it one last time. That's how I was. I always had to get the last laugh, or the last move, or the last word. However you want to say it, that's just my attitude. That's the type of person that I am. But anyways, I reared back and I threw the ball. Spot went after it happily, and then I heard a loud crash and the sound of glass shattering. I knew that I was in for it then. Whenever my father got home, I knew I was going to be in serious trouble. But it didn't even take that long for me to be in serious trouble. My mother came stomping down the hallway and into the room, and she grabbed me by my shirt and slapped me on the face. She said, "You broke my favorite mirror. I've had that mirror for 10 years and you broke it." And that's when things really escalated. She was so heated at the moment, without even thinking about it, she went outside to my father's tool shed, came back in with a hammer, and she proceeded to destroy my Xbox 360 right in front of my eyes. I immediately started crying and screaming. There was nothing I could do besides watch my Xbox 360 get destroyed. I was just a kid. What was I gonna do? How was I gonna get another one? That's when the worst plan that I've ever had came to mind. I went to my room without saying a word. I didn't even eat dinner that day. Whenever my father told me dinner was ready, I just told him I wasn't hungry. I laid there and thought, trying to decide if this was really what I wanted to do. And then when I thought of my Xbox 360, I was like, yeah, I've got to do this. There has to be retaliation for my Xbox 360 getting destroyed. So I went to bed for the night, and then woke up the next morning as she was leaving for work. I hurriedly ran over to the window to make sure that she had left. After I was sure that she was gone and not going to be back for a while, I went to my father's tool shed, and I got the same hammer that I had seen the night before destroying my 360, and I said to myself, yeah, this is going to be good. Revenge is sweet. I walked down the hallway slowly, hammer in hand, and then proceeded to go to the guest bedroom. The guest bedroom is where my mom keeps all of her collectibles like china and doodads. Anything that she considers really valuable that she doesn't want to get broken, she puts it in there. Honestly, the guest bedroom is more of a storage closet where she can keep all of her valuables that she doesn't want around me because she thinks I'll break them. We never even have guests come by. I can't even name one time that anybody has ever stayed in the guest room. But anyways, I take the hammer, I smash some of her finest china. Then I just knock all of her doodads off the shelf altogether. And then this is where the real fun began. Or my downfall, I should say. I walked across the room where her mirrors were hanging. There were 5 of them, in order from smallest to biggest. The mirrors all looked alike, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where one's smaller, one's bigger, and it gradually gets bigger in size, but they're all identical. Yeah, that's the type of mirror that I'm talking about. Anyways, I took one swing. Wham! Broke the first mirror. Wham! Broke the second mirror. And then wham! Broke the third. And then I thought to myself, maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. But with me being the way that I am with my temper, I swung and broke the 4th. And right before I could break the 5th, I seen my own reflection move with a hammer and broke the mirror from the other side. As soon as that happened, I screamed in terror, and there was a loud noise that I can best only describe as thunder, but there's no way it could be thunder. It was a sunny day. It was hot and humid, but it was sunny. Following that incident, I ran to my room and locked myself in there and proceeded to watch TV all day, at least until my mom got home. And then I realized that I was going to be punished when she got there. But eventually, she showed up and I told her I'd been playing fetch, and that Spot had knocked over and broke some of her collectibles and stuff. I didn't really think she was going to buy it at all, but she said it's okay. I've never really cared for that junk anyways. I was so surprised at this. I was like, what? I thought that you absolutely loved them. She's like, no, I've been wanting to get rid of those for years. Why do you think I put it in the guest bedroom? I sighed in relief and I asked, was it okay if I get my Xbox controller back? She looked at me puzzled. She said, "What do you mean, can you get it back? Did you let one of your friends borrow it again or something?" I responded, "Don't play dumb with me. You know you took it yesterday because I was playing fetch in the house." She said, "Honey, you must have been dreaming or something because I didn't take your Xbox controller and we didn't get into an argument about anything either." She goes, "Let's look in your room. You must have misplaced it." And I led the way in there and she followed, and to my surprise, my Xbox controller was sitting on the dresser. It hadn't been touched. And I was thinking to myself, did I really dream that that happened yesterday? And I broke her china and her mirrors and all that for no reason? After thinking a moment, I just said, "Oh, silly me, I must have been dreaming." And I gave her a hug and told her I loved her. Then I proceeded to play Halo. When I started it up, I realized something was different. I thought it could have been a practical joke or something. People were laying prone, they were able to plant claymores, and do stuff that wasn't in the original game. This was not the original game. It looked like it. The case and everything looked the same. The disc looked the same. And even in the Xbox, the picture it showed for the game, it looked the same and said it was Halo 3. But there were some major differences in the gameplay. I thought about it and I thought somebody was just pulling an elaborate prank somehow. Maybe one of my friends hacked my account or did something to my Xbox that I didn't know about. But that wasn't the end of it. I noticed a lot of things had changed after that. I turned the TV on and there was a channel that was dedicated to showing live executions. I had to turn it off. I was like, what is this sick crap? I scanned through all the channels and the channels were named the same, but the content, it just wasn't right. It was odd to say the least. It was stuff that you never would see on TV. It wasn't traditional television, I guess you would say. Since there wasn't anything I could watch on television, I decided to take Spot for a walk. I grabbed his leash, caught him in there, put him on it, but when I went outside, there were two suns. This really had me in full panic. I didn't know what was happening, and so I called my mom outside and pointed up, and she said, "What? It's just the suns." At this point, I passed out. I was literally having a mental breakdown. I didn't know what to do. Everything that I once known was the same was changing right in front of my eyes. Things were not the way they were supposed to be. I kept telling myself maybe I would just wake up from this bad dream. I've got to be dreaming, that's it. I'm asleep. But unfortunately, I never woke up because it wasn't a dream. When I went to take a shower, I noticed there was only one knob in there. And you couldn't control the temperature, that just controlled the water pressure. The water was much too hot for my taste, so I called my mom up there and asked her what happened to the bathroom. My mom just started laughing and said, "Alright, this practical joke's gone on long enough. Stop pretending like you don't know anything. You know good and well that you can't change the water temperature. It's required by federal law for the temperature to stay that hot. And there's nothing we can do about it. We are not going to break the law. Now you know the laws. I raised you better than that. Come in here and take your punishment." I said that I wasn't going to be punished, but my dad held me down and my mom started hitting me with a belt. But not the belt part, you would say, but the buckle part. She hit me 20 times exactly. I was bruised and bleeding on my back. And she said, "It hurts me to do this, but the law is the law, and punishment is necessary." I wanted to call the cops after this because I thought that my mom and dad had went crazy. They've never hit me in my life, and then this. But I was too scared to call the cops. With the way that everything was different, I didn't know what would happen if I called them, what they would say, what sort of laws I would be breaking, and what type of punishment I would receive. So I just went to my room and I decided to sit there until dinner time. I was getting kind of hungry, and thankfully my dad called me and he said, "Come here, son, dinner's ready." And when I got down there, all I saw was syringes. my dad was administering shots to my mom. Then to himself, he even gave one to Spot. And then he said, "Come here, son, it's time for yours." I tried to get away, but he caught me and held me down and gave me a shot. And I said, "What the hell? You told me dinner was ready and now you're giving me drugs?" He said, "Watch your mouth." And no, I'm giving you dinner. What's up with you playing stupid today? After that was over, I went to the bathroom and was washing my hands and looking in the mirror, just trying to figure out what was happening, when my reflection spoke to me. It said, "Hello, James. I'm you from a different universe. I seen what you did to the other universes, and so I destroyed yours." I was like, "What the hell do you mean I did to the other universes? I didn't do anything to any universes." He said, "When you broke the mirrors, you destroyed a universe each time. A mirror is a gateway to another universe. Whenever you're looking at your reflection, you're looking at you from a parallel universe. In my universe, we've developed defenses against this and learned ways to observe people in other universes, and I seen you destroy 4 universes right before you got to the one that was mine. Now, we are a peaceful people, but we couldn't just idly stand by and let you destroy everything that we've worked hard to accomplish, to be killed for no reason at all. And so, with a little bit of thinking and consideration, we decided it had to be done. We had to destroy your universe. I know you probably didn't do it on purpose, but there wasn't enough time to stop you or to explain. So, we smashed it, and now I imagine your world is changing right in front of your eyes. Now, your universe is not going to be completely destroyed, as I say, but everything that you know is going to change and continue to change, because each crack that's in the mirror is a crack in the fabric of space-time in your universe. Things will never be the same, and I'm sorry I had to do it, but just understand that we had no choice. We had to defend ourselves. And after he said that, I realized that I was doomed. But hopefully, just maybe, this story that I'm writing down now and telling, maybe it can help somebody, prevent them from losing everything that they've worked hard for, losing their loved ones, and their way of life. Because losing your entire way of life, everything that you've known, that could possibly be worse than death. So I'm sending this story out everywhere on the internet, hoping maybe it can reach people in other universes and dimensions and stop people from making the same mistake I did. And if you get this and everything's normal, remember they say that breaking a mirror is bad luck, and there's an actual reason behind it. It's not a superstition.